Okay, hey everyone, I'm called Jobless today, software engineering student at University Yaoundé, Cameroon. So, here's the deal. I recently discovered that my use of AI is reducing the way I think as a student. And since I'm a software engineering student, I'm going to code. I'm going to be coding. So, I've been using AI to code, do a lot of my assignments, and I usually just copy code without having an intention to learn. So I saw a need to go back to the fundamentals because I could not even, if you ask me to write a simple, just to write a simple form in HTML is more than me. So I discovered that when you take away AI from me, I cannot code, which is difficult, which is bad because I need to be growing also as a developer. So what we will do in this video today is going back to the fundamentals. We are going to duplicate the ChatGPT interface, right? With just HTML and CSS, just the layout to understand the syntax. Why are we using this? Why flexbox? What's the meaning of this? So we really go deep to actually understand that. We'll build up from there because we are in right now AI can write huge amount of code, but the problem is that do you understand the code, right? What if, because most of the times it's going to make errors. So with the fundamentals there, you can write better prompts, you'll be able to debug the code. So that's what we're going to do today. We are going back to the fundamentals and come back up from there. So with that said, okay, now let's begin the video. As you can see on my screen, this is the interface. This is what we are going to be replicating. It's just replicating the UI. As you can see on my screen, we have just this, all of these buttons here. We are not going to do. We are just going to make the layout since it's just basically HTML and CSS. So before we start, this is what we want to do. Remember, the goal for this video is to learn the fundamentals of web development. So now let's start with the thinking, because programming is about critical thinking development. This is what I want to do. How should I do it? I'm going to use ChatGPT along the way if I get stuck on the road. So basically, I know that we have the sidebar, we have the main area, and we have the input form. And we have these icons. We are going to do all of these icons. We are going to do this one, this one, this one, and this one. Then with the input form down here. So all of it, the chart issue, as you can see here, we're not going to do that since it's JavaScript and everything. So we are doing the sidebar. So we are going to break this into three parts. We're breaking that into three parts. We have the sidebar, you have the main area, which include the input box, and we have the icon. So I'll just show you the finished product. So actually, this is what it's going to look like. This is what it's going to look like. So it's going to be like responsive like this. So no problem. So this is what we are building. So let's just jump into VS Code. As you can see, let's start back from scratch. Start from scratch and delete everything. Same thing here. Okay. What is this? Okay. It's no problem. Okay, so we are starting back from afresh. Let me just include the boiler code here. Shift I, enter. So this is my blank HTML document. Before we proceed, let's just give some definition. HTML stands for hypertext markup language, which is used to build web pages on the web. So it makes up the skeleton of a website, right? Most website you see under the hood, even though it was built with any framework, but under the hood tip, it is both HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So we are going to be using HTML, which is that builds a skeleton of a page. So now, as you can see, this is just the boilerplate code for HTML. So I can just change the title here. I can just say Chat GPT UI, something like that. Okay, now it's time to get into code. Let's go back to the browser. Okay, so this is what we are building, right? This is what we are building. We'll break it down into three parts, as I said. We have the sidebar and we have the main area. So now, let's get into it. So this is what we are going to do. Since we are breaking down into three parts, right? The sidebar. And if I want to build the sidebar, what tag in HTML, because HTML has what they call tags. They have a library of a set of different tags that has their purposes and what it's used for. So what we are going to use here, we can either use a div or an aside. So we are simply going to say something like so let's keep going. So what we are going to do is that we are going to put everything inside a container. So we are going to create, as I said earlier, we are going to be working with divs. So div is simply a container in HTML that helps you group your content together. So we're going to create a div. So to create a div, just simply write div, you press enter. Now, so this is going to be our main container, and we are going to use external CSS here for the styling. So I've already created a CSS that we are going to link it. So let's do that. Let's just say link. So to link your external CSS to your HTML file, you use this. Now, so this one says ref is that we're working with style sheet, and here is where we are going to specify the path. So the name of it is like this. So by doing this, we have connected our CSS file to our HTML. Here we are going to write our styles that is going to affect this HTML file. So that is good. Now we are going to, since we are using external CSS, we are going to work with classes. So we are going to give a name here which is called class. We are going to simply say container. So that we are going to start it. Now, okay, now let's get into it. So let's go back to, so we are going to break this into two. We have the sidebar and we have the main area. Let's go back to, so we are going to use a tag called aside. Aside is an HTML tag that is used normally to build, that is used for creating sidebars, used for creating menus. So it's a good practice to follow. So to create an aside, you just simply write aside like this and you press enter. Okay, now inside the aside, this is where we are going to create the sidebar of a ChatGPT. So inside that, let's go back to see how it looks. So we are going to put 3 icons, 1, 2, and 3. So as you can see, I went ahead and download the icons. We have this one. Why is it not shown? Okay, we have this. So we need, let's get back to it. We need this icon is to close the sidebar, as you can see, but we are not going to do that here since we are working with just HTML CSS, because this is JavaScript. We're not going to do that here. So we're just going to put the icons. We're going to put this one here, the search and the new chat. So we are going to go there. Now remember, we are going to be working with divs, so we need to group them inside the div. So I'm still going to use a div here. I'm going to use a div here. I'm going to use a div called Nasora to help us group the items. So since it's an and we're going to use to put the icons are images, we are going to use another tag called images, which is called im, short from images. So now we're going to, this SRC stands for the location of the file. So we need let's see, we need the sidebar. So I think it's images like that. We go now to, I think it's this one, yes, this one. Now we are going to give it called sidebar. Okay, so that is it. We have done it for the first one. Let's do it for the second one. Okay, let's just first think we should I thought I had, let me open live server. Okay, it is running, so everything is okay. Let's go back to the code. Live server was supposed to be here. Okay, go live. This is it. Okay, now, so as you can see, this is what we have. This the sidebar icon. So everything is going as we. So now we need to put the other, since we have 3 icons. Let's just copy and paste this. Copy. Go to the next line. Paste. Paste. Let's delete this space. Let's press Ctrl S to save. Let's go back to our browser. We have 3 of them. Everything is intact. So now we need to change this. Since we need the search icon. We need a search icon. here we need a new chat, which is pencil. The pencil search. Let's check how everything is going. So everything is done. So now let's lay them out. As you can see in the interface, this one is this other way, this other one is there. Now, in order for us to group these two, right, we need these two. We need to put them inside a div. So that's why we need to group them. Okay, I think what I'm trying is going to work. Just stop this video. So okay, that is all for the sidebar. That's what we're doing for the sidebar. As you can see, these are the 3 icons we need. So these are the 3 icons. Let's go now to the main area. So now we are still going to, after the aside is done, we will create now another div. And this div you are seeing still under the main div. This div we are going to call it, give it a class called main area that we are going to use to style this main area. Did I spell that correctly? Main area. Okay. No, let's just say chat window. Let's say main chat window. Okay, that is okay. Now inside this, right? Inside this we have the input form, we have the nav bar and some icons. We have these icons, and this other one here. So that is what we're going to include here. So now inside here we are going to create a div, right? Another div. Let me just write the code. I'll explain along the way. So this div is going to be for the nav bar. I can say something like this. Since we're working with icons, I'm still going to use the imp tag here, which is going to be, because if you come back to we have this icon. This icon do the same thing as this other one. So these are just close sidebar icons. So the same icon we use. So this icon you are still going to use it here. So let's go back. So let's just come and copy this one here. Yes, let's copy this. Come and put here. Put here. So that is good. Okay, now after that, let's write this. After that, we are going to do this, but we're not going to make this drop down since we're working with just HTML and CSS. We are going to do that. Let's just put an HTML tag. So let's just write ChatGPT here. Okay. Now what is next? We go now to the other side, the other icon. This other icon. This one we need to do next. So the same thing here. I'll just paste. Right. And now here I'm going to include, but I'm going to input a new chat icon. Yes, I'm going to put a new chat icon since I don't have the icon for that. Yes, I'm going to put the pencil icon here to create new. Okay, so that is it. So what we have done here is to create this section. Here, these 2 icons and this. So here, what I did, I used this one to include it here because I don't have the icon for that. So I have this one. So then the next thing now, still under. Yes, we're going to still inside the main chat window. We are going to create now this input form. So this is the only thing we need to do, this input form. So we're going to use a div. Again here, so that we want to group everything inside containers. A div. Now we're going to use a form tag to create a form. Go now inside. What is next? So we can say something like, before we create the form, let's write an h1 tag here, because you always know that message, like it's always a message that GPT usually they always say something like, how can I help you today? So that's what we're going to do. So say, how can I help you today? How can I help you today? Okay, that's good. So let's see how it looks. Yeah, we are going to write the CSS for that in a moment. So let's just finish with the HTML and go and design everything. So now let's go back to the form. So inside the form, we are simply going to remove this action. We don't need it here. So inside here, we're going to write an input field to create this input. This input, because it's an input field. To create it, you simply write input like this. Input like this. So the input is going to be text. So text. We're going to give a class name of message input, something like that. Sorry, message input. Now we go to new line. Next, we give the placeholder and say ask. We can say something like type your message. So that is okay. Now from there we go to auto complete. I'll explain everything in a moment. Off. Okay. So now what is next? So that is done. Now the next thing is to include this button. We have this input field, and I have a button inside the input field, so that's what I need to go. So simply write the button tag like this. Now we put type submit. Okay. Now we're going to give a class to it. We're going to give a class send button. So okay, inside the button now we are going to put the image icon. Now this is going to be an arrow, images, pointing arrow like that, something like this. Now so we're going to give it for the alt tag send. Okay, what is next to do? So basically that is all. I think let me send this thing this way. Okay, so I have the form tag, I have the div. So let's just give him just say input section. That is okay. Input section. Okay, let's see how everything looks like. Okay, now as you can see, we have everything looks messy. I know it does not look good, so that is the work of CSS. So I think everything is done for the HTML. Everything is done for the HTML file. Everything is done. So let me just walk you through what I've done in a moment. So basically, as I said, we have the main container, right? We have the main container that we group everything into it. Then we go now, this is for the sidebar. Let me just write some comments. It's always good to comment the code. How do you comment code again? Okay, now you say sidebar. You have have main area like that. So okay, so that is it. Now let's go now to the CSS. Okay, now the first thing we are going to do for the CSS is that we are going to remove some default styles that comes when we create our HTML document. So we're going to use something like that. Enter. So we are going to, okay, now let me show you what I'm about to do. Okay, so we say margin 0, go to padding 0, go to box sizing, border box. Now let's take now the body. We take font, sorry, here we are defining the font. Font family is, I love Popin, I don't know about you. Popin, I have sans serif. We go now to the background color. Is, let me just check the color. I think it is hash 34 like this, but I think this is 1 at the end. See, we go now to color, so it's hash, I go with 3. Next, go now to the height, which is 100 UH. Then get back into it. So where were we? So now, as I said earlier, this is for everything. So this star means this star is going to go for the whole HTML document. So I just simply, because if you create an HTML file, by default it's going to come with default styles. So that's why we are moving. Everything should be removed. So that's why we say the margin, the padding and the box size have to be 0. Now we start with the body. Since as we see here, we have a body tag, so we are writing styles that is going to affect that body. So for the font family, we want to use the font size popping. The background color, I think, no, this don't have to be B. Sorry about that. This don't have to be that. So now the color is going to go for the text. We want it like this. Then the height, we want to occupy everything. So that is it. Now since we already have that, let's go next. Inside now, we have made the style for the body. Let's let's style this container. This is when CSS. Remember, let me give you a brief. CSS is cascading style sheet that is used to design your web pages. All the colors, everything in terms of beauty is done with CSS. So with CSS, we are going to use external CSS, as I said, because we create an external file, we link it inside our HTML document to write the styles. So let's go. We are going to start with the container, right? This is where we group everything. So we are going to style that first. So we are going to say, let's just copy this. Let's go to our style. Now in CSS, in order for me to style a tag, we have to use classes. And to use classes, now come to your CSS, you put dot like this, copy the name of the line. Now it is, I want to write styles that is going to affect the div. So to do that, right now, since now I want this way, now I'm doing the layout. Let me go back. So let's just go back. Yeah, you see this one is side by side. We are going to use what I call flex box. What is flex box? Flex box is a layout system in CSS that is used to create flexible layout. And I recently discovered this when I was talking, when I was working with all of my classmates, and I saw that they were using Flexbox. And before I was just using the custom width, and my design was very unresponsive. So we are going to use Flexbox here. It helps you to create not responsive. It helps you to create responsive layout that can string based on the screen size. So we are going to use Flexbox to do that here. So we are going to say in CSS, so this is a property, right? Display, right? They take flex. Now we are doing this at the parent container because we have a main parent container. Inside that we have two divs. So we do it at the parent level, so it affects all the children. You understand? So that is it. Sorry. Let me off this. Okay. Now let's get back to it. After that, we give now the height we want for the div. We still want same thing, 100 VH. Okay. Now that is all for the container. That's all we need. Now let's go now to the sidebar. The next is a sidebar. Oh, okay. Now let's give a class here, so we can start it. Give a class sidebar. I think there is a typo here. Sidebar. Okay, we'll just copy that. Okay, now we go now to our CSS to start it like this. Sorry. Enter. So inside the sidebar, we are going to give it. We start with the width. The width of the sidebar is going to be 260 pixels. Next, we have background color. The background color of the sidebar we want is going to be F9. Sorry, need to start with hash. It's going to be F9. Sorry, it needs to be 9 here. Okay, so that is the background. We go now to the next. The next is the display. We need to use the display properties here. You should write display flex again. Go to the next, write flex direction. Now this is when we are actually arranging the design. No, what am I saying? This is when we are positioning the thing. So the flex direction, we want to use column because we want it to be want it to be vertically. So we're going to use column here for that. Now for the next, we are going to use justify content. We are going to use space between. Okay. Now let's see if all I've done. Okay. Now, as you can see, I think you can see it very well. You see now, let me explain. Actually, remember let me just remove this thing like this. You see what has happened, right? Flexbox is used to, the reason we use flex to position, them side by side. So that is the power of Flexbox. So let me bring it back. No, sorry. Okay. So that is the power of Flexbox. Now the sidebar, as I said, this we use flex. The reason why I'm using flex here again is because if you come here, right, we have a div, right? We use Flexbox on this aside tag to make it to be flexible. The meaning of flexible makes the container to be flexible so that anything inside can be displayed easily. So we use Flexbox here again. Now flex direction is trying to tell the container should be aligned vertically. Now justify content space between is talking about the icons inside the Flexbox to space them out. Okay, now let's go back to it. You discover that both of them are still same. Now in order for us to have one icon here, two of this icon at the side, what we are going to do here, we are going to we are going to put this inside a div, another divs. Then we are going to style that div separately. So let's just say let me say div paste. Then I've made a mistake somewhere. Okay, yes, we put this inside a div. Right now, let's just give a class to this one so we'll be able to style it. So class, so let's just give it let's say something like top right section, and let's copy it and style it okay. Now let's come down here, Control V, paste here. Okay, so that is it. I think I've made a mistake somewhere. Let me check. Okay, now let me check the output. Okay, you discover that the reason why it's like this because we created another div. Since a div is called a block element, that means it occupies the entire width. It blocks everything. It takes the next line. That's what they call a block element. So let's go back to our code. In order for us to make it side by side, I think we need to come and include we need to style the main parent div. So let's just say top section, something like that. Now we copy this, control copy. Before we start that, right, give control V. Okay, now we say display again. So display flex, right? Display flex. We say justify content space between. We say align items center. We say cursor pointer. So let's check if what we have done actually works. Voila, as you can see, everything is taking shape now. We have this and we have that as same thing as this here. So now let's go. I think the width is so big. I think we can reduce it. Let's just say 240. Yes, 240. Has it changed? Yes. I think that's changed. Let's put it to 200 again and see. Okay, voila, I think that would be better. Now the next thing is we need to style now this other div. We need to style now this other one. We need to style that one. Let me do a good formatting here for my document. I think HTML that, so it should be well formatted. Okay, now I save. So yes, next, this is what we need to do next. Now since this let's write our display again, display flex. Yes, this is what I'm saying. I need to, because I never wanted when I'm doing this, I'm trying to understand the syntax and to familiarize with myself with the code I'm writing. So I have display flex. So let's give the gap to be 13 pixel. Okay, let's see how it looks like, the gap for this one. Now let's increase the size of the icons. Okay, to style these icons right inside this, so we are just going to copy this one. We come here, right? We say something like dot control V. Now call it, say like that, and we give the width to be 25 pixel. We give now the height, same thing, 25 pixel. Okay, now let's see how it looks like. Voila. Okay, not bad. So next thing is to style now the main chat area, but let's just take a look at the design. I think this thing is so close here. Let's just give it a padding a bit. Okay, and where is the sidebar? Okay, yes, this is a sidebar. Let's go there. Let's say padding. Let's just say 20 pixel, because it was so okay, perfect. So voilà, that is it. And I think the gap is, so let's just go back to 250. Okay, it's not bad. Now let's go now to, okay, we have that. What are the next things to do? Okay, since we are done with the sidebar, let's go now to the main area. So we are going to copy this. We go to our CSS. Before what was happening is that I usually allow AI to do all of this, but now like this, I want to do this myself to understand how actually everything is connected and working. So that's why I want to understand basically each line I'm writing and the syntax and what is actually happening. So now we are going to start with our flex. Flex now here. We are still going to say 1. One. I'm going to say display flex. We're gonna flex direction column again. We go to say padding. We say 20 pixel. Sorry, 20 pixel. Next, we go to background color. Background color is just the white one. Input. So let's see how it looks like. Okay, so that is it. We have that and we have that. Okay, what is the next thing to do? So we have styled that. Now we need to give a class to this, so we'll be able to start it, because we have a lot of divs. So in order to differentiate the divs, that's why we give class. So it's like you are naming a container that you can use it in your CSS to call it. So here we are going to say just say main top section. Okay, let's copy it. Okay, control V, just like that. So now inside the main top section, this is what we want to work with, because this is where we are going to have, let me just go back here. So this is what we want to do now, since we have these icons. So that's what we have to do. So we are going to say, go back, we see use display flex again, display flex, sorry,
And after that, we say justify. What am I doing? Justify content, space between. Now, align items, center. Go now to cursor, pointer. So that one is okay. Now let's see how everything's look like. Save. Okay. Now, as you can see, you see how Flexbox is very powerful. I came to discover that Flexbox is very easy to use. So this is this one. So that's why we are positioned there. Now let's increase the icons. Think. So we are just simply, let me remove the space here. So we need to increase these two icons. So basically we are just simply going to copy this. Come here. Done. I think it's the same thing above here. So let's just copy this. Come and paste it down here. Paste. So voila, it's almost the same this one, I guess. So now the next thing is to center the input form at the bottom here. So that's the next thing to do. Okay. So now this is where we are going to now. Okay.
The thing to do, as I said, is to now position this thing at the center of the page. So let's go back to our HTML code. So let's see, I think, okay, we need to, okay, let's copy this one. This is what we will use. Let's take copy. Let's tie this. So for the input section, flex is this. We are going to use one. Display flex. We write flex. We write flex direction. We say column. Excuse me. The reason why we're using flex direction here, this is actually, we are specifying the, how will I explain it? Okay, I think we can use AI for this. We are specifying, here we are specifying, where it says flex direction, you are telling the container which position to take. So column means it should be vertically placed. So the next thing is align item. Align items center. Now justify content. Since I want to position it at the center of the page, I'll take center. Now remember, this input section is at these divs. Is this div right? Is a main div, because we have the main area, right? Inside the main area we have the header and we have the input section. So that we are doing this because it's going to help us to kind of display them easily, to position them easily. If we just put everything like that inside one div or inside the main area, to position everything is going to be difficult. So that's why we group it inside divs, so that we can style the divs. We can put it like you have a room, right? Inside a room you have different cupboards, like you have different cartons. Inside those cartons are like divs, right? You will have things inside, so you can just shift things around. So that's why we are using div here now. So this is what, let's see how it looks. Voila, as you can see, if the reason you have seen how everything is coming, right? If you don't use a div inside here, to position that thing down is going to be difficult. So that's why we use a div here. So then everything is in place. Let's check it again. So everything is, now let's tie this very well. So now here we need to come. Okay, now let's give a class. Let's give a class to the form. So let's just say let's give a name to this class, to the form. We'll just call it input area, right? Like that. Now we copy it. Copy it. We go now down here. So here we are going to write display flex to make the container to be flexible. Display flex. Then next we are going to align the items inside the container. This align item is for anything inside of the container. So we want to like position them. So we are going to center everything inside this container, inside the div. Now the next is we give the width. The width is going to be 100%. Percentage here. Now we are going to give the max width. Max width. So I should not go more than this. The max width is 600. We are going to go with 600 pixels here. Then we go for the margin. The margin, we are going to give it 0 and auto, so that's to position it at the center. Then now we are going to go to padding. Padding, we are going to start with 10 pixels and 0. That will be all. Let's take how it looks like. Okay, now let's go to the next. The next is, let's tie now the message input. Okay, now let's go now to the message input, because that's where now the input field, right? So inside the message input, the first properties we are going to, the first CSS property we are going to use is flex. So we're going to say flex 1. Okay, we're going to use padding. This one now we're styling the input field. So we save the first, we save 15 pixels, we save 48 pixels, 15 pixels, 16 pixels. The next is the border of the form. Border 1 pixel, solid hash. So the color, that's the color of the border. Now border radius 24 pixel. Go font size is going to be 14 pixel. Outline none. That means we don't want no line should be there. We go to now justify content center. Okay, that will be all for the message input. Now let's check how everything, voila, as you can see, this is how everything is taking shape there. This icon is there. We are going to do that in a moment. So this is how things are going. Now let's go now to the next thing is to style now the button, because you discover that it's outside. You need to be inside the form, like this one here. Remember, we're not going to do all of these things. Where the goal for this video is just to understand the fundament, understand what we're actually doing with HTML and CSS, as we are going to keep building the project along the way. So let's go back here. Let's copy. I think no, voila. This is this. So let's go back. Okay. So the first one we're going to use here is position. Now I want to position now the send button, the send icon inside the input form. So we are going to use the CSS position property called position relative. Position relative. Sorry. We say right. So with 14 pixel. Go to the background color. Background color is none. The border is none. The cursor pointer like that. We go now to padding. Padding will be 0. So now let's take a look at how it goes. There's still a problem here. How will we solve this problem? Okay, it's okay because it was just the icon. Now let's I think it's supposed to be 40 years, sorry. So that's why. Okay. As you can see, it's now inside. Now let's increase the size of the icon. Now we go back to our, we'll see, just copy this. Right, enter here. So we can just say, we'll say width should be 24 pixel. We say height should be 24 pixel. As I'm doing that, I'm understanding the syntax. Okay, so that is it. So actually I think we are almost done. Let's see if it is actually the same with what normally we don't have all of these things here because these are buttons. We don't have them here. We'll add them later because the main thing was just to try to understand the basic of HTML and CSS with going through getting this ChatGPT UI. So basically this is what we have done. We have gone through. It's not exact, but at least I think we have done a really good job here. So this is it. Now the last thing to do is to make it responsive. Okay, let's make it responsive. As you can see, it's not responsive. So we are going to do that in a moment. So to make this page responsive, we are going to use media queries in CSS, which is called responsive design, making your website responsive, adapt to every screen sizes. To do that, let's see. Let's go back to our code. To make the website this side responsive, and to do that we are going to use media query. As I said, media query helps you make your website responsive. That means it allows your site to be, when they say responsive, it simply means because your site is not going to be viewed only on one screen, it's going to be viewed on so many other screens. So to make it responsive on all other screens, that's the term they use, a technical term called responsive. That means your website should be adapt to every screen. So that means if you take up your phone like this, right, your phone like this, you open your site there. Now, your site needs to adapt to this screen size. The same way if you open it on a laptop, on any device, your website should fit that screen. So that's what they say, responsiveness, to make your website adapt to every screen. So it'll be very good. Now to do that in code, we are going to work with this. So we are going to touch this and that. You use what they call media queries. So I'll show you the syntax the same way. So you go down here. So this is the syntax. You start with this like that, As you can see, this is already it. We're not going to take it, we have to copy it so that we get to understand that you are at your home, like that. Media, you give space, you write max width, max width. Let me just write what I'm doing. I'll explain in a moment. Pixel. Now, okay, alright, dot sidebar. Display none. That means, okay, let me just finish what I'm doing. Display none. So, yes, it was main chat window. So, alright, flex 1 100%. Okay, now let's see if what we are doing actually makes sense. Let me try to scale it down. Wow, as you can see, this is the power of media queries. As you can see, it's responsive. Now, you discover that as I am scaling down the website, these are different screen sizes. These are different screen sizes. As I'm going down, you see immediately when it hits, okay, let me just go back to the code. Let me explain what it means. So this is the syntax of, this is what we call media query. So this max width is, I'm specifying the max width. That means when it gets to the viewpoint of 768, which is, I think is for medium, for mobile screen. So when it gets to this width, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that for the nav bar, display none, that means I make it to disappear. Display none, right? Then now for the chat window, I'm saying it should occupy the whole screen, the width should be 100%, and I should give a bit of padding, 10 pixels. So basically, I think that is all we have accomplished today. Remember, the goal of the video was to understand the basic, go back to the fundamentals, try to do things from scratch a little bit, because now AI is actually doing everything. We are not actually understanding things. So it's just so once in a while, go back to try to do things, try to understand. So let me go through very fast again with the code. So basically, we broke down the UI into 3 parts, basically 4 parts. We have the sidebar and we have the main area. Now inside the sidebar, I said we use aside because it's for semantic, so that it's to make your website for SEO standard. It helps your website follow the best practices, as they always say we should do. Then now, yes, means it's for sidebar. Now inside the sidebar, we have 3 icons. So we have the first div, which is for the top. I just give it top section. Now inside the div, we have another div that carries these images for that. So this section is for aside. So now we go down to the main area. Inside the main area, we have the header and we have the input form. So I think that is it. I hope I was able to explain this to anybody out there which is still a beginner. So same thing for the CSS, it's step by step. So this is an external CSS. Yes, external CSS. So where you create an external file to include your styles that is going to be used in your HTML. We can still do it here. So there are 3 ways to write CSS. We have inline, we have external, which one again? I think I've forgotten all that one. Another that's sorry 3. So you have inline styling, where you come and write the styles inside the HTML tag. Another one is when you come and write it inside at the head of your body, between the head and the body, right? Then the last one is external CSS. So basically, I think we have come, basically, so that is it. So we have come to the end of the video. I just want to say thank you for anybody that is still watching up to now. It has been an honor to actually have your attention, and I'm glad you're still watching. I would like you to give me a thumbs up, a like, a subscribe, and also I just want to share something. I was accepted by the developer student program because they recently, and I'm going to make a video about AI in education as a student, because I think that is so most of my videos will be coming up on that, and coding in general, entrepreneurship, value in general, because I'm here to create value. And yeah, so I got accepted in their program, and they offered me 50 credit, 50 US dollars of API credit. So they said they'll be checking in to see actually what I'm about to do. So I think give me a like, subscribe to the channel, comment if actually what I'm making here is actually making sense, and also tell me what are your suggestions, and did you face any problem? Are you facing the same problem? If you're a student watching, or what, how are you using AI? Comment down below so that I can learn from you also. And yeah, thank you very much. And the API credit, so like and share, subscribe to see what I'll be doing with the Anthropic credit, because most of the times I'll be sharing more videos coming up. So I just want to say thank you for your time. You'll see here. Remember to like, share, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Let's create value together.